During the harsh winters of the Middle Ages, miners often descended into the bowels of the earth, chiseling away at black stone in search of iron and coal. Yet what they brought back was not always precious ore. There were whispers, reports of voices drifting through the tunnels, like a choir echoing from the heart of the mountain. The men swore they heard harmonious chanting, as if a cathedral lay hidden beneath the soil. But no church was there, only darkness, stone, and a silence that suffocated every living soul. Some believed the voices belonged to angels trapped in the underworld. Others claimed they were the laments of the damned, clawing at the stone walls of their eternal prison. Still, the songs persisted, melodies too beautiful to be human, yet too mournful to belong to heaven. The miners were a superstitious folk. They spat over their shoulders before entering the shafts and carried small iron charms against evil, but charms did little when the earth itself began to sing. One man, Eric, returned from a shift with pale skin and trembling hands. He told the others he had heard voices calling his name, woven into the chant. When he tried to leave, the melody rose, pulling him deeper, luring him toward an abyss he had never seen before. That night, Eric never woke. His body was found stiff and pale, as though the very air had been drained from his lungs. His lips, however, were curved in a faint smile, as if he had died listening to music no living soul could endure. In time, the mine owners ordered the tunnels closed, but greed has always been stronger than fear. Deeper shafts were dug. At one site, the workers uncovered an old stairwell, cut perfectly into the stone, spiraling downward into pitch blackness. No one could explain who had carved it. No record spoke of ancient builders. The staircase had simply always been there, waiting. And from its depth came a constant hum, like a choir forever holding a single eternal note. The men lowered torches, but the flames died instantly, swallowed by unseen breath. They sealed the shaft with heavy planks, but every night the song seeped upward, vibrating through the wood as though the mountain itself were singing. Word spread to nearby villages. Priests were called, prayers were spoken, crosses erected, yet the hymns beneath the earth never ceased. They seemed to mock the prayers, twisting into strange counter-melodies. A scholar of the occult arrived, bringing with him ancient texts bound in cracked leather. He compared the miners' accounts with legends of the chorus of the buried, a medieval myth of souls who sang eternally beneath the earth, neither alive nor dead. The hymn, he warned, was a ritual, one that fed on those who listened too long. To hear it was to risk being called downward step by step into the silence below. One evening, driven by both fear and curiosity, a group of young miners decided to test the legend. They tied ropes around their waists, lit torches, and descended the forbidden shaft. The stairwell seemed endless. Stone steps worn smooth by centuries spiraled downward into suffocating dark. The air grew colder with each turn, and the chant became clearer, dozens, perhaps hundreds of voices weaving a tapestry of sorrow. When the men finally reached the bottom, the light of their torches revealed walls covered in strange carvings. Symbols of mouths open in song, faces etched into the stone, eyes hollow, lips stretched wide in eternal chant. One miner screamed. His torch fell and was swallowed by the abyss. The choir rose in a crescendo, and above, those waiting heard the ropes snap. One by one, none of the young men returned. The villagers buried empty coffins for the lost miners, but during the night, strange sounds echoed through the graveyard. A low hum trembled through the soil, as if the earth itself mourned or rejoiced. Some swore they saw the ground move, shifting like something beneath the dirt, pressed upward, clawing toward the surface. Yet when the graves were dug up, they were found untouched. Only silence remained. And yet, When the wind blew through the valley, the villagers heard faint singing carried on the breeze, like the voices of those who had vanished, still calling from beneath the soil. Generations passed, but the legend endured. Children were warned never to approach the sealed shaft, but warnings often breed temptation. A shepherd claimed he once heard the music drifting from the mountain. At dusk, entranced, he followed the sound, step after step until his sheep scattered and the stars wheeled above him. When he awoke, he was lying at the edge of the shaft, one foot dangling over the abyss. His hair had turned white overnight. His voice trembled as he swore that something in the music had tried to pull his soul from his body. On a moonless night, villagers saw a procession winding through the forest. Figures robed in black, carrying candles that did not flicker in the wind. They walked toward the mine, singing in tones that echoed the forbidden hymn. The villagers followed in silence, too afraid to speak. When the robed figures reached the sealed shaft, they formed a circle and continued their chant. The ground shook. The boards that sealed the stairwell split apart, as if something below had answered their call. And then, as suddenly as they had appeared, the procession vanished into the shaft. Candles, robes, and voices swallowed whole by the dark. The shaft was sealed again, this time with stone. Yet strange things began to happen in the village. A boy awoke in the night, his mouth open, singing notes he had never learned. His parents tried to silence him, but the melody continued even when he slept. Others soon joined him. Farmers, merchants, children, each began to hum fragments of the hymn at odd hours, as though their bodies were instruments of some buried choir. The priest declared it possession. Exorcisms were attempted. None worked. The voices always returned. By the turn of the century, the mine was abandoned. The villagers moved away, leaving behind only ruins and superstition. Yet travelers who pass through the valley still speak of strange music carried on the wind at night. Some say the song is beautiful, drawing you to listen, to step closer to the hollow shaft. Others warn that those who lean too near never step back. For beneath the mountain, in caverns no human hand carved, the choir still sings. Their voices rise in endless harmony, waiting, calling, hungering for new souls to join their eternal song. And once you hear it, you will never forget. For the music beneath the earth does not fade, it only waits. In the end, the voices beneath the earth were never silenced. No matter how many tunnels were sealed, no matter how many prayers were whispered, the haunting chorus continued, an endless hymn echoing through the veins of stone. Some say it is the lament of souls crushed and buried alive. Others believe it is something far older, something that has always existed in the depths, waiting for those foolish enough to listen too closely. Those who return from the mines are never the same. Their eyes carry the weight of the abyss, and their lips tremble with fragments of that cursed melody. Perhaps the voices do not call to everyone. Perhaps they choose. And perhaps, one night, as you lay awake in silence, you too will hear the faint, chilling hum rising through the floor beneath your bed. The story of the music from beneath the earth is not just a tale of horror, but a reminder there are places mankind was never meant to touch, and songs never meant to be sung. If you want to descend further into the shadows, uncovering more stories the world has tried to bury, subscribe to Dark Whispers, The darkness is calling. Will you answer?